Today we have the Veatches.
First of all, today we have our very first interview on our podcast.
That is true.
Let's do that.
Our very first interview on the Mizell Show.
And we are blessed to be joined by the Veatches.
Yes. So Brandy and Laird Veatch they're just the sweetest people, and you'll be able to hear their authenticity through our conversation with them. We have been blessed to be able to get to know them through the University of Memphis football program in the athletic department. But you guys get access to learn more about them as who they are as human beings. And married people, relationships, just turn the volume up, turn down everything else, and just hang tight.
Perfect.
Welcome to the Mizell Show.
An inspiration for a new generation.
Hi, I'm Alana Mizell, a loving mother of two, a devoted wife to Stephen, and an entrepreneur helping women realize their dreams and potential.
And I'm Stephen Mizell, caring father of two, a devoted husband to Alana, and a driving force to help young men prepare for life after college football.
And if that wasn't enough, we're a biracial couple.
She was raised in the North, but I was raised in the South.
The only thing normal about our lives, who am I kidding? It's never normal around here. Join us for the Mizell Show.
Right now. We are here back with the Mizell Show, and we are grateful that we are joined by
our first interview with Brandy and Laird Veatch.
Yes, we are super excited.
I feel like we need a drum roll.
We're super excited that they actually said yes and are our first interviewees on our show. So we'll first let them introduce themselves, say a little bit about themselves, and we'll kind of dive in and kind of talk more about why we felt that we wanted you guys as our fans and subscribers and people to hear from the Veatches.
If we have any.
All four of the subscribers, our parents.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
But yeah, we would love to just have you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll dive in.
All right, you go first.
Oh, you're the one who's so good at this stuff, right? So just me or us as a couple?
Oh, no, it is you.
You.
Yeah, come on.
Who is
All right.
Brandy?
Brandy Veatch, mother of four. We have four kids, that 3 girls and a boy that range from ages of 19 down to 10. So currently stay-at-home mom. I'm the home chaos coordinator is what I call myself. So any stay-at-home moms out there knows that home life is always chaotic. But my profession, really, my education is in social work. So I've practiced in many different fields with that degree. But for now, I'm just focusing on my family, which is what I love to do as well. And probably as you get to know us a little bit better, we have a heart for missions too. So I'm very involved in nonprofits in other countries. And we're new to Memphis and we love it here and just starting to make some friendships and hope to make some more.
All right. She covered all the primary roles. So I'm a husband and father first. And I am currently on the work side, athletic director at the University of Memphis. So that's how, of course, we got to know the Mizells and make that connection. So we've been here just a little over a year, and it's been quite the wild year, but already sort of getting a little more settled in on the private side, or on the personal side, I should say, and with family. And so, yeah, that pretty much covers it.
That's us.
Well, that's great. You guys make it seem so easy.
Like casual,
no
fine,
big deal.
4 kids,
Moved
no
during
big
COVID,
deal.
all that stuff.
Right.
It's fine. It's fine. All right.
But one of the main reasons that we wanted to interview you guys is because we've met a handful of athletic directors and athletic director families, but there's just something different about the Veatches. And just for the people that don't know, we were fortunate enough to go to the Cotton Bowl last year, and the Veatch family saved my life. We had a 1-year-old Briggs Mizell, who was a terror.
Keep in mind, he hadn't been to any football games before, so his first football game ever was a Cotton Bowl. In Jerry's world.
And then 2 toddlers stuck in a hotel room for, what was it, 8 days?
8 days, and we spent Christmas in the hotel. And granted, we are grateful for that.
We are so grateful.
But it's still alive.
But we just went as soon as we met both of you guys. And Stephen had told me that he met Laird, and I was like, yeah, whatever. You think all these people are great. But then I met the Veatches, and just the genuine spirit from you guys, and that we saw between your marriage was refreshing for me, and something that I just don't feel like is common, especially in the athletic world. So, and then of course we've gotten to know you guys even better, and it's even better in real life. So I guess my biggest question for you guys is, what's been the biggest challenge you've seen in your marriage and relationships kind of achieving your professional goals? So Brandy, you talked about being in social work. Like, what was that challenge like for you guys? And, you know, kind of as you've gotten bigger and bigger within your marriage.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that earlier today. And I think the biggest challenge for us has been we've moved a lot with Laird's career path. We committed to that when we first got married. And this is our 7th or 8th move, I think.
7th, yeah.
So, you can think of that as like a negative, but to us, it's been a whirlwind of excitement and blessings. I mean, you can look at each opportunity in its own way, and we've been blessed at every place that we've met. We've met extraordinary people, but with moving comes challenges. It comes challenges on your marriage, the stress. It comes challenges on your kids and them adjusting. And I guess what would you add to that? Probably.
No, I think that's definitely the moves themselves have certainly been the biggest challenge. And then, making the decisions to move have been stressful and challenging. And, for us, I think if you had known us all of your life, you would probably not predict us as the people that are going to move a bunch. We were like the, a couple hometown kids, grew up in the same town, pretty much all of our youth went to college there, and we didn't really anticipate or expect that, but it's just sort of the adventure God wanted. As we went through each step of the way, it was very much what path does God want, and most all of the moves were sort of unexpected. They just sort of happened and kind of came to us in different ways. But always challenging to uproot your families and to move away from friends, and that I think one of the things that's made us I guess successful, if you want to call it that, and how we've managed it is we just kind of jump in and go all in and don't hold back, and so you build deep relationships, and then that makes it even harder when you do end up moving later.
Right.
But,
right.
But that whole process has been both probably the biggest challenge and also biggest blessing in a lot of ways.
And I think I'm fortunate with my career. You don't have to be paid to be a social worker. There's always people in need, and so with each move, I haven't always sought a paid employment because Laird's job. I mean, luckily he's the breadwinner, and that gives me the opportunity to stay home. So I've been able to be there with my kids through every step of the way, but I don't feel like I've given up anything, because with each new adventure, there's been new opportunities to dive into, whether it's volunteer work or being on committees or different things like that. So it's just looking at it a different way. But what'd you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's definitely, we love that. It's very understanding of what you guys say. Like you approach the challenge and you see it, but you also can see the other side of the blessing. So it kind of rolls into my next question for you, kind of piggybacks off of that. Just as we continue to grow this podcast, we continue to have people that we want to pour into and let them learn things. A lot of times you have relationships or marriages that there is a quote unquote breadwinner, or there is someone who's maybe further in their career, and that person sometimes has the burden or the guilt to be the one that comes home and says, we're moving or we're doing this. So Laird, how do you deal with the guilt of, I guess the guilt, I mean, I don't think How do you deal with that guilt piece? Like, I have to go home and tell my family. Like, it's a great thing you're in a new job potentially, but it's also like, how do you deal with the guilt? I'm just coming out to ask you.
It's a really good question. And there is guilt. That's the big thing. And you have to manage through it. I think, having a wife and kids that are supportive and that understand it and get the world we're in. And I think that's a big part of it, is making sure that you're aligned and together on, what you're trying to do and why. And, if you have that buy-in, then it makes it better. It's the guilt is still there, and I will tell you that it's been heavy guilt at different times, but it also is it's been joint decisions. Whenever those things come, and I found that you get better at that as you get through it. And when you're early on in your marriage and your career, those big life decisions are, I think, more challenging because it's experience you haven't done before. So you don't really know how are we going to think this through? How are we going to talk it through? How are we going to approach it? And, the more you do it, the better you get, just like anything else. But, I always knew when I'd come home with those potential opportunities that we'd make the decision together and we'd talk it through together. And it wasn't just going to be me saying, okay, we got to do this. It was, okay, is this right? And we'd have multiple discussions. We'd pray in between. We'd talk to the people. We'd come back together, and we just sort of developed a way of talking that stuff through. And there's been a few times when she'd look at me like you're absolutely crazy. There's no way we're doing that. But it was for the right reasons. It wasn't just because she didn't want to move or didn't want to go through it. It was because it wasn't what God wanted and what we were supposed to be doing.
I will say, my grandma, she, bless her little heart, she died a month shy of 106, and she was born and raised in the same little county of Kansas her entire life, and never moved anywhere. And, in those days, people just worked. They just worked where they were bred. And so she would always say to me, she's like, well, I just can't write your address down in pen anymore. That Laird Veatch, he just is not keeping you guys very stable. And I try to explain to her, Grandma, it's a promotion. And she's like, I just don't know why he can't keep a job.
Yes, that sounds something like
best.
That
is awesome. I love that.
So quick question for you, Brandy. So what is the telltale sign? Does Laird come home with a special chocolate, or he's lingers hey, let's go to this restaurant? What's his telltale sign? He's about to say something to kind of butter you up.
It's always, I was trying to think the last two times he said, well, such and such has called me. And then there's a pause.
Call or anything.
And I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, well, I just let it go to voicemail. And I'm like, well, call him back.
Yes,
so
that's what I'm looking for.
I let it go to voicemail.
So to call him back till about a month later, then we're packing up our U-Haul and moving. So, from the call back to it goes quick. But he's right. It's always been a mutual decision,
Good.
between us and God. I mean, God has led us down some pretty amazing paths, and he's also given us the clarity to say no to some things. And so, just our trust and faith in each other. We've been blessed that it's always worked out. So, yeah.
Have you guys ever had a no that you thought he was going to say yes?
Yes.
Yeah, probably
he had a job offer once. We flew there, we interviewed, we looked at houses, we, and we flew home, and we were both, that's always our prayers, that we both have the same feeling about it. We both want clarity, and it was a definite no. There was also one time where we flew and interviewed, and to be honest, on the way there on the flight, I was like, lose our luggage, let everybody be mean to us. I don't want to do this. And Laird went in one car, I went in another, and we saw the city and looked at the place. We met back at the hotel, and I had the best day of my life, and Laird had the best day. And it was like, what am of us to be able to say no. Yes. And so that was kind of God speaking of, I'm going to make this easy for you.
And you moved to Memphis.
Always been blessed. Yeah. Clarity. But that was not Memphis. That was another.
Just kidding. Oh my gosh, that's funny. What aspects of your marriage do you guys kind of continue to try to embody?
Gosh.
You want me to go first? Do you want to go?
Sure.
You want me to go first? Okay. She'll be better at answering this than me. She's the social worker, so she's been training. First of all, she's been training me all of our marriage. So she gets all the credit.
It takes a long time, ladies. Just keep working at it.
Yes.
Buckle up. Got it.
We had many conversations early on in our marriage about validation.
You got to teach them how to validate your feelings.
There's been several different things along the way. She had to pull out the social work skills on Laird and teach them a few things. But I think you hear all the standard stuff. Communication is certainly the biggest in terms of just making sure you're really talking to each other and being very present and really working through, particularly when you talk about the major decisions and issues in our lives. But I think we've just tried to be very real, and we focus on just being, you gave us a good compliment earlier about being genuine, and I think that that goes a long ways if you're just honest, genuine, truthful in your interaction and how you're talking to each other, how you treat each other. I have had the fortune of being married to a woman that I really have never doubted. I always know that she's real and true, and I just don't ever worry about her lying to me or doing something behind my back. I've never even had that. Really, I've never had that thought. It just doesn't occur because we try to be just very honest and real with each other. I think that's been a huge part.
Mm-hmm. We started out, as really good friends. He's my husband, but he was my best friend first. And so we've just always had really open communication. And I think the thing that most marriages have a hard time doing is just giving each other the gift of grace, grace to fail and grace to be stupid and grace to be silly and all of those things. Just give each other a little grace and understanding and not jump to conclusions so fast. And we still struggle with that. It's not like, we misinterpret different things, but just the grace to fail and to pick the pieces back up together or to explain, yourself. And we've just always been really good communicators. That's probably our strongest suit is we communicate well. Mm-hmm. And you have to do that with kids. You have to communicate and be on the same page. And we're blessed that we started out on a good note. We look back now, we got married in the Catholic Church and we had to go to this engagement encounter. And I think back at the young couple that went to that engagement encounter, and I just want to giggle because I would say we probably didn't take it very serious, did we? Mm-hmm. No, we were like, why are we here? We're perfect. We're going to have this perfect marriage.
Got it.
And then you're looking around the room, you're like, oh yeah, we're great. They're going to, we've got this under control,
We had no idea.
We had no idea. Luckily we've worked it out and we've communicated and just laugh together. You just got to laugh together. Even when things get hard and bad, you have to find deep down in your soul a place to giggle, with the other person. Mm-hmm. So
I also think it's helpful that I realized early on that she's smarter than me and that she's right. if the husband realizes that the wife is right, that the vast majority of the time, then things tend to work out. It's amazing how that
works out just fine.
It works out great. And then I think that the premise of grace is something that I think a lot of couples struggle with. Is that we are together and we are married and we love each other, but we're still humans and we still make mistakes, even if it's unintentionally in terms of communication with kids. not putting the dishes up right, all those things.
Serious.
But you just have to have the grace, and I think it's something that's genuinely missed a lot of times in relationships. But it's right there up in the, you say, top 5 with communication, and you have to show that spouse grace so they can continue to learn and grow. I think grace is huge.
Did you know that I sell makeup? Not only do I sell makeup, but the makeup that I sell is 3D makeup, which allows you to highlight and contour your face in a super simple compact. As a mom, I could not survive without my simplified routine. Not only that, but it's exactly what you need. Exactly when you need it, all in one spot. Go ahead and check out Alana Mizell on Instagram or alanamizell.com to learn more. So, how have you guys been able to focus on each other at the same time achieving insane professional and career goals?
What was your last vacation together? No kids.
Oh, no kids.
No kids.
Yeah.
February. Yeah, last February. We are very lucky in the fact that we have very healthy parents, young parents, and they always have been really great to watch our kids for us. We've had lots of opportunities to be together, and I know we have friends that don't have that opportunity or don't feel comfortable leaving their kids. And I would say it's so important. It's so important for your marriage, but it's also important for your kids. It's important for your kids to see, hey, I don't always have to have mom and dad, and they are going to come back. And I don't want to say that we've been like really good at it, but we have been pretty good at it. We've taken trips and thought about each other. Now it could be a work trip, but at least I get to go. At least I get to go along. It's two of us, together. But we that's something we have to work on all the time. I mean, it's a constant struggle to find time for each other, for sure. And as you guys probably know, with kids, you go out to dinner and you try to have a conversation that doesn't involve the kids. It just doesn't happen because they're just such a big part of your life.
Yeah.
We could be better at that, for sure.
Yeah. I think there's times that I find myself wishing we were better at that, at just being more intentional about spending time together. And, we have not ever been really good at like, okay, we have our date night, let's stick with it. Or we have the, these more intentional kind of specific times just for us. I do think we do pretty good at just being very engaged in the day-to-day life, and together. And so much of it, like with my job and this career, as Stephen knows well, it's all encompassing. So, you really have to find ways to involve your family in the job and in the events and in the things that are going on. And my family has always been great about just buying in and making it a part of it. And that's a lot of times that is our time together. It's the bowl games, it's the events, it's the, watching a game together. It's that kind of stuff where you find ways to, really make that all integrated.
Yeah. So a not on the list question. What was one of your favorite dates with each other?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I don't want too many details. Just kind of.
What would you say?
I don't know if there's like one that really sticks out.
It's probably not like one date. It's probably like a specific trip. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yeah. Probably the most recent one back in February was pretty special. We got together.
Yeah.
We got to go to the Super Bowl. I'll just drop that in there. Hey. One of the perks of the job and the relationships and some of that. And it was and we don't really do that kind of stuff very often, but it was, I had the fortune when we were in Florida of getting to know the Gatorade folks really well. So they, being that it originated there, and then, so they had invited us to go, and we still found a way to make it work. And that was really special, just to get away together and do something like that, which we like I said, we don't very often get to do those things.
We don't really do, now that I think about it, with you asking that question, we don't really do trips that doesn't involve something with your work. Because I was thinking, well, my favorite trip is we went to Italy, but that was with the basketball team. And it wasn't an amazing trip, but we were still in a company of like, 15 very tall boys on our bus,
Very
it was
tall.
an amazing trip. So
Yeah.
I just feel lucky when I get to tag along and be his +1. So.
And you don't have to worry about the 15 tall people.
Yes, that's right. I mean, I'm not their mom.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And then you only know that you went to the Super Bowl and made it even more special. The world shut down after the Super Bowl. So just made it in time.
Little did you know.
Little did you know.
Okay.
And I think it's only fair for you guys to hear about us. So I'll tell you, me and Alana met at a Up Till Dawn function at the U of M. And she was actually dating someone else when I first met her. And she gave me the cold shoulder on my pickup lines. But I still remember it. We were in the UC ballroom, and it was just a very awkward but yet fun interaction. And,
the U of M.
Oh, the U of M.
Everything the U of M.
Exactly.
Right. So, are you guys book people? Do you like books? I mean, you don't have much spare time.
I'm a book person, probably more
when you can.
A lot more when I can, and I go in waves. There's times, I will admit, since coming here over the last year, I've read very, very few, if any, books the last year, because it's been so crazy. But typically I am. I like the self-help stuff. I like the particularly kind of business-oriented books, and you could probably predict that based on my profession.
Shocker. Yeah. So what is your favorite book you've either read or listened to?
I get asked that question a lot by young professionals particularly. So it'd probably be more of the book that comes to mind is probably more of a business oriented book. The Speed of Trust. Have you heard or read that book? It's really good, and it's all about the value of trust and the impact it has not only on relationships, but on organizations and teams and groups, and how if you don't have trust, things just break down, and they truly are not as efficient or functional, and you just don't operate well when you don't have trust. It's incredibly impactful. But when I saw that list or that question in your list earlier, and the book that came to mind, Brandy, you'll laugh, the Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
And my mom gave us that when we got married.
So because this is the marriage podcast, so my mom gave us that book. And for some reason that book
she wrote notes in it. Yeah. She wrote notes in it for us.
She highlighted sections.
Right.
Yeah, but we also, I think the love languages too. She gave us that book as well, and that was a really good book for a marriage, because we have completely different love languages, and they have ones now for your kids, for little kids and teenagers, and I've read all of those, and it's just really a powerful light bulb that goes on when you realize you think you're giving someone the love that they need, but they actually need it in a different way. And so we've referred to that a lot. Like, our love language isn't getting filled up. And so I guess that's probably one of our favorite books that we refer to back the most.
Yeah.
So what are you guys streaming as a couple? What do you watch?
Yeah, what's your guilty
outside
pleasure?
of football, of course? I mean, clearly, but what do you stream? What do you watch?
Those are two separate things too.
Yeah,
we don't stream together.
Oh.
We kind of do our own thing. We kind of do our own thing.
So what is yours?
I tend to, I hate to admit this, but I tend to like teenage sci-fi kind of stuff, like Harry Potter and that kind of those kind of things.
I love it. I'm also partly not surprised.
Are you a fan of Stranger Things?
I love Stranger Things.
Okay, there you go. Okay, there you
awesome.
go.
You bet.
That's a good one. That is a
Never
good
seen.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings series, Harry Potter, those kind of things I really enjoy for some strange reason. I hate that. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit it, but
no, but it helps you step out of the realm and enjoy it, and get out of your day to day.
Yeah, I feel like you could escape.
Yeah, escape with a Stranger Things. Yes,
you do to sci-fi. I do to reality TV.
I'm all drama. Bring on the drama. I mean, make it real. I like medical stuff. I like shows like The Crown, on Netflix. It talks about the royal family. So I kind of like things that are kind of based off of true stories, but they tweak it a little bit for Hollywood. I love those kind of things. So anything medical, I watch all, I watched ER for every single season.
Oh, yes.
Grey's Anatomy. I'm that kind of girl. Bring on the medical drama.
Still watching Grey's?
Still.
That's
still a fan.
This is really why I watched you, Brandy.
I watched it with her like seasons 1 through 8. I just like, after Derek died, I was like, I can't deal with it.
Derek was until like 13. He's like, I'm out. This is too much.
All right, last thing to kind of wrap up. One thing that me and Alana, we really enjoy and embrace a gratitude practice and a grateful. So we would love for you guys to give us the Veatch's grateful nugget that they might share their family, or what is something that you guys are grateful for that we would want to leave with?
What are you grateful for?
Gosh, there's so many things. I'm grateful. Because we've been talking about marriage. I am grateful for my husband, but all that aside, we have 4 amazing kids. God just blessed us with this. We have 3 biological children and an adopted son. And I am so grateful for them because I know not everybody can have children or have that many. And they're just awesome. They bring light to our lives, and they're healthy and they're happy, and they are followers of Jesus and all the things wrapped into one. And so they're just amazing kids. I couldn't brag about them enough.
Yeah. It's the easy answer, but it's just such the obvious answer. And our kids now are getting to the point where, I've really noticed this. Our oldest daughter just came back here a few days ago from college, and seeing them all interact as 3 teenage, young ladies, and watching them, how they love each other and their friends. And that is incredibly rewarding to see your kids really engaged with each other and love each other and just be excited to be together. And, we are very, very fortunate. We've been blessed in many ways. We have wonderful parents. I'm grateful because we frankly haven't had to fight a lot of the battles that many people do. We've been very healthy. We have really good mental health and just really healthy relationships. And it's just, I see out there, we're pretty unique in that way. We've had our challenges, and we've got some interesting family members, and, there's some things out there like others, but in the big picture, we are really fortunate in a lot of ways. And so much of that comes down to family and health and just being able to experience everyday life and really, good, healthy ways is very, we're very, very fortunate, very rewarding.
And I think just living in the present, gives us gratitude. Because I think, especially in the fast-paced world that we live in, it's so easy to look, what's the next thing? What's the next thing on your calendar? What are we doing next week, next month? And our kids are kind of starting to be programmed like that with social media and everything. And we've tried to tell our kids, live in the precious present. This is the moment that God has given you. Don't rush your life because you never get this moment back. And so we try to be grateful for the precious present. We say that a lot in our family. The girls were just making fun of me tonight about that because they made some comment and they're like, Mom's going to say, live in the present, don't rush your life. So they know that.
I love it. I love it.
We definitely appreciate you. And we thank you guys for this time. And we're going to have to tell Adele that the girls are all back together.
The girls are here.
The girls are here. We definitely have to tell her that and let her know. We appreciate you guys so much for hopping on. And it means a lot to us.
Well, anyways, we are so glad that you guys tuned in today. Of course, if you are loving this by the Mizell Show, if you will hop onto iTunes and just give us a little review, we would love that. So we would really, 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 really appreciate that. Go ahead and screenshot this episode as well and share that to your social media and tag us at The Mizell Show. Thank you guys so much. Are you loving The Mizell Show? Well, we love you all. And did you know that you can have me and Steven talk to your team or a group of 25 of your friends? All it takes is 25 people showing up on either a Zoom call, a Facebook Live, or really anywhere. Hopefully in person sooner rather than later. But how do you get us? So all you have to do is email themizellshow@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on Instagram @themizellshow.